Number one, mentalism. All is mind, the universe is mental. Thoughts lead to the manifestation of things and events. Thoughts create our state of existence and the quality of our experience here on Earth. Therefore, be responsible. Let's just hide that. Therefore, be responsible for everything you create by being responsible for everything that you think. The mind is the greatest power in all of creation, and it speaks in symbols and archetypes. This is a zero. The word zero, when you get to the root word, it means something done in secret. Most people think that zero means nothing, but I'm going to argue that zero represents all things and infinite potential. Here's a symbol that we can use to understand the mind. First, we're going to take the mind, and then we're going to split it. And we're going to split it between the conscious and the subconscious. And then we're going to take the subconscious and the conscious, and we're going to add the body. The body being your, not just your body, but the environment that you live in. And with our mind, we have our lower faculties, you know, the five senses that we're taught about in school, but we also have our higher faculties, which we're not necessarily taught about in school. We'll get into that reasoning why later. These higher faculties are the will, reason, perception, imagination, intuition, and memory, which can all be exercised. So reason is your ability to think. Memory, it says everyone has a perfect memory. This means that you can exercise your memory. My memory has just gotten great because I work it out all the time. I used to know how to memorize a whole deck of cards just by reading a book and learning how to do that. You use your imagination to do that, and other various, you use your will and reason, of course. So your perception is your point of view, your will is your ability to focus and concentrate. Intuition is a gut feeling, imagination is your ability to create. So with this in our conscious mind, we have the thinking mind and the educated mind. The intellect, it has the ability to choose or accept or reject, and it originates. This is your conscious mind. And your subconscious mind cannot reject, it must accept, and it cannot determine the difference between what is real or imagined. That's really important. It's an important fact to know. The subconscious mind can process approximately 20 billion bits of info per second, and the conscious mind processes 40 bits of info per second. The conscious mind can process 500,000 more times than what the conscious mind is able to. The subconscious is programmed by a repetition of information and emotion. So you as a baby, in the first 7 years of your life, you developed what's called a paradigm. And that's a multitude of habits and beliefs and worldview, world structure, everything that comes from the radio, the TV, other people, school, because you go to school when you're about 5. And for those 2 years, they give you a whole bunch of programs. And a lot of those programs they give you in school are designed to make you reliant on other people and what other people have said about the world that you live in, which may or may not be true. But how would you know any different if you were still a baby like this? Because a baby does not have a conscious mind. It cannot accept or reject. Your mind is programmable. If you're not programming it, then someone else will program it for you. Interesting quote. It's also very true. The law of subconscious. Whatever is impressed upon it repeatedly must move into physical form within and through you. That's a quote by Bob Proctor. A lot of this stuff is a lot of this information comes from Bob Proctor, who passed away today, which I actually got a little emotional over, because, you know, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't understand how mind control works so well, and I wouldn't be as mindful. I wouldn't have been exercising my intellectual factors in the way that I have been. And I don't usually get emotional when people I don't know pass away, but I did with Bob here, because he's a pretty cool dude, you know, shared a lot of free info. So within the circle, we have infinite potential inside of your mind, and anything can be manifested. Now, this is a little interesting fact. We have this thing called heterosuggestion. Heterosuggestion means, the word hetero means other, when you get back to the root of it. So heterosuggestion, and the word suggestion has the word gestion in it, which relates to gestation. So it's only a matter of the repetition of a heterosuggestion that you will eventually become whatever's, you will get this information and you'll put it back out there into the world through the receiving of information. And this is true. It's just true. And we also have another thing called autosuggestion. Now, the thing about autosuggestion is auto means self. So it's self-suggestion. This is the opposite of heterosuggestion. With autosuggestion, if you look it up on Google, it'll tell you that autosuggestion is a pseudoscience, which is a little bit suspect, because it's the opposite of heterosuggestion. They don't say heterosuggestion is a pseudoscience. So basically what they're trying to tell you when they say autosuggestion is a pseudoscience is they say that suggesting stuff to yourself doesn't work, and it's not a real science. Whereas heterosuggestion is totally fine. So it's kind of silly, you know, when you actually sit down and reason for a bit. You see, what they're trying to do is they're trying to tell you that only the suggestions of other people actually have any effect, which is just wrong and really should be considered, if you ask me. So a lot of us think in pictures, but from what I've heard lately, there's this thing called anesthesia where a lot of people don't think in pictures. But if you do think in pictures, you can impress pictures upon, you could like have a picture and a self-image maybe, and whatever it is you want. Like, I've learned how to do many things. Like, I've learned how to play guitar, bass. I've learned how to see a lot of things through my reasoning factor. I've also learned how to spin a bow staff. And, you know, it's through persistent practice, goals, and seeing myself. And I've also had the really good health once upon a time, and that's through impressing images upon my subconscious mind, which is a true story. So, and you know, you ask a question. Every time you ask a question, your brain is designed to figure it out, and it will if you trust it. And if you let the information in, ask questions about it, your brain can figure it out. You got to trust your brain. You got to have a vision. And one more time here with this, because we're going to talk about the difference between the thinking mind and the educated mind. So your left, what they call left brain and right brain thinking. Your left brain thinking is the educated mind, and right brain thinking is the intellectual mind, the thinking mind, I should say. So right brain is creative, you know, it has this imagination, intuition, rhythm, holistic arts, visualization. That's all in the thinking mind. But thinking in words, sequencing, linear thinking, mathematics, facts, logic, you have to learn all this stuff. That's the educated mind. So that's the left brain, right brain, you know. If just for little bit of reframing, it's all conscious work. What most people think with is their left brain, which is what's called the educated mind, from where I stand here. So the educated mind has only so much information that it can work with. And because people don't know about their intellectual factors, they don't know that they can think, and that they don't know that they can like generate thoughts and ideas and exercise their intellect to become stronger, so you can actually discern truth rather than just live subconsciously via program, which is what most people are doing today. And that's why the world is the way it is because people are being manipulated in their emotions because they don't know logic. They don't know how to reason. It's true. It's a true story. So let's go through this one more time here. Lower faculties are your five senses. Higher faculties are your will, reasoning, perception, imagination, intuition, and memory, which are all able to be strengthened and exercised. And it's really your best defense against mind control is to have these higher faculties being exercised. And one pattern I've noticed is a lot of people that I talk to who are seeing through the bullshit of the world today are exercising their higher faculties. I can tell because I've been doing it for 12 years. I just want to share that. So that's mentalism. And that's just the first part of my presentation that I'll be sharing at a super secret location.